Hey everyone! I feel like on my Formspring channel, most of the questions that I've gotten have to do with relationships, boyfriends, girlfriends, family relationships. A lot of people do ask me about like my hair and my makeup, but the majority of the questions are relationship related. So from now on, I'm going to be making a video once a week. I'm going to have like a main topic like school or clothes, relationships, family issues, just anything like that. Sometimes it's going to be beauty related, or sometimes it's just going to have to do with random things that I'm willing to give advice about. Give me questions that you really want me to answer about that certain topic that I tell you at the end of the video, so that the next video that I make will be answering your questions. And I'll be picking probably about 10 questions that I really like to be answered. So make sure you think of good questions. I'm just going to be answering a few questions that have popped up a lot on my Formspring, just because this is my first video. My mom tells me I'll find a guy like me and have a nice guy in college because that's the time guys are a bit mature and will have similar stuff to talk about. Is it true? No offense against guys, but guys anywhere from the range of like 13 to probably around 22 are just going to be in the most immature stages of their life in terms of relationships. Guys at that age do not want long-term relationships. I'm not saying all guys, but most guys look at girls as objects. They'll only want one thing, which is sex, and they'll be pressuring girls in high school, sometimes in college too, to do things that they don't want to do. And then they end up regretting actually doing it with that certain person because they didn't really love him. So for me, I actually was lucky and I met my boyfriend over the summer 3 years ago at a place that I worked. He's like one of the rare kinds of guys that like want a long-term relationship and actually want to have one girl in their life for the rest of their lives. So sometimes you can find guys that are really good, but most of the time they're not going to want anything serious till they're out of college and they have a job and they become more mature, in my opinion. When do you think is the appropriate age to have a boyfriend and have sex with him? For me, before I met my boyfriend, I actually was not going to do anything till I was married to the person that I loved. But of course in today's generation, a lot of girls are having sex early, and most of the time it's with somebody that they don't really love. So for me with this question, I want to answer it saying that you can make love with somebody that you know you're going to be with for the rest of your life and that you truly love. You don't want to do it with somebody that has flaws or has at least one thing that you don't like about them. You want to love everything about them. You want to be able to trust them, and you want them to treat you nicely. So for me, there really is no appropriate age. I think it's just when you meet the right person for you, when you meet like your soulmate, then I think that you can go ahead and go for it. Most of my classmates act so fake in school and are so cool. I'm just me. I like art, design, music, dance, everything, and I don't like kids who smoke and stuff, but I am so friendly to everyone. I'm just shy, but at times I wish I was popular. So yes, it's true, at times lots of people wish that they were popular, but it's never going to happen unless you force yourself to be somebody else. So for me in high school, I was actually not popular, not even close to being popular. I had like my own little group of friends and we all liked the same things, and I was okay with that. So I never wanted to try and be somebody else and try and act like I was so cool and try and act like I really liked to go to parties when I really didn't. And so I just stuck with that, to being myself, and I found that that worked the best for me. You just have to know that if you're satisfied with your life and the way it is, if you're a happy person, if you have the friends that you wanted to have, then, I mean, who really cares about anybody else? I hope I find the perfect someone like you did one day. I haven't had a boyfriend till now. I'm gonna turn 16. Sometimes I feel ashamed though at times because most of my classmates have guys. You don't need to rush anything. You don't have to have a boyfriend all the time. And especially when you're younger, in your teenage years, most of the time the relationships are not going to be anything serious, so it's not like detrimental that you need to have a boyfriend. So what I would suggest is just having your friends and hang out with your friends all the time. And if a boy comes around that you really like, then yeah, go ahead and, date him and stuff. Oftentimes friends can be a lot better than boyfriends anyway. They stick by your side more and you can trust them more. I have a male best friend and I have been friends with him for about 5 years, and lately I feel like I've developed more than friend feelings towards him, and he tells me when he's drunk that he likes me, but when he's sober he doesn't say it. What should I do? Of course, when people are drunk, they often say the truth. They say what they really feel. So if he's saying that he likes you when he's drunk, then it's probably true. He really does like you. And if he's been your best guy friend for 5 years, then I would definitely say go for it. I would say ask him on a date. If he declines right there, I wouldn't be too upset. I think you just need to give him time to let it sink in that his best girlfriend just asked him on a date. And if it actually doesn't work out, then it's fine. You guys can still be friends. It's not going to be awkward or anything, but I would definitely say go for it if you do really like him. Something really amazing could happen. You guys could end up being together for the rest of your lives. So, I mean, there's really nothing to lose. He'll still be your friend no matter what. How did you cope with your parents' divorce? I'm having such a hard time. My parents got divorced when I was around 13, I think, so it was like 7 years ago, and at first, yeah, it was pretty devastating. My parents never really saw each other that much anyway, so, I mean, it wasn't weird not seeing them like hug and kiss because they never really spent time together to begin with, so that part wasn't hard for me. What was hard for me was just the fact that our family was now splitting apart and the custody battles. I did keep to myself at school and I didn't have as many friends as I could have had, so I would say to just not let it bother you. Just go about your daily life. You can find distractions like listening to music or hanging out with friends. You don't always have to be at the house. It really is just life. People love each other in the beginning and then they realize that they don't love each other anymore after it's been a couple years. I mean, you yourself can't do anything about it, and it's definitely not your fault. Like, as the child, I often felt that it was my fault that they got a divorce somehow. Don't feel that way. It's their problem. It's their love that doesn't have a spark anymore. So it is kind of bothersome, but I just don't let it get to me, and I just basically try not to ever let it show, and I try to be a really positive person. It's also really helpful to have somebody else in your life, like a boyfriend or a best friend that you can always go to and talk to. Alright guys, so that's all the questions that I'm going to answer today. I don't have time to answer anymore, but so from now on, I'm not going to be answering questions from my formspring. I'm going to be answering questions from you guys. If you guys have a question that you really want to be answered, and if you guys feel like you really need help with something, I'm here to help you guys. I'm not just a makeup and hair guru. I actually really, really like to help people. Yeah, go ahead and ask me a question. I'd love to see it. I'm going to be reading them all. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.